Hi everyone and welcome back. The Great Reset, digital currencies, universal basic income. That's conspiracy, right? Well, that's certainly what people thought not that long ago. And now it's starting to become a little bit more mainstream. It's being discussed openly. But there's a lot of confusion around it. There's a lot of conjecture, a lot of uncertainty. So let's try and simplify it. Let's work off what we know. This isn't about politics here. This isn't about theory either. This is about you in particular and how this can actually impact you. Things like your superannuation, things like your bank account or your investments, your stock portfolios, whatever it might be. Because that's what people are actually worried about here. We don't need to be at panic right now, but we definitely should be paying attention. See, right now, most people still assume that their money is theirs, that it belongs to them, that access is guaranteed, and that the system will keep working in the same way. That, my friends, is an assumption, okay? It's an assumption. If we assume, we can make an ass out of you and me. Assumptions can be dangerous, but look at what's actually happening. Central banks are exploring digital currencies. Governments are talking about direct payments. Now, if you want to call it stimulus, if you want to call it quantitative easing, whether it be universal basic income, whatever, it is being discussed. Organisations like the World Economic Forum have their sustainability goals. The United Nations, they're pushing for changes to how economies are actually structured. Now, this is all very real. You can call it what you like, but it's most certainly not nothing, and I don't believe that any of this should be ignored. Now, a lot of people think money is already digital, and to a point, it is. And that's why people think that if they have cash, paper money, they're safe, they're immune, they can still transact. But look, there's a difference between digital money and programmable money. And that difference, believe it or not, really matters. It's very important that we understand. So many people misunderstand this, and unfortunately they get it all wrong. People hear this and say, well, isn't this already here? Haven't we got cryptocurrencies? Isn't what that is? Well, no, it's not. Not at all. In fact, this is the trap. We do already have digital money. There's no doubt about that. Stable coins like USDT, USDC, this is digital money. This is issued by companies like Tether, for example. These currencies track the dollar. It's called a peg. The value of the stable coin is designed to sit at $1. It's digital, but stable coins are still part of the existing current system. Now, then you have CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. These are issued directly by central banks, like the Federal Reserve. It's digital bank money issued by financial institutions. That's the system itself basically getting an upgrade, going to full digital. And then you've got Bitcoin, where there is no central issuer whatsoever. There's no company involved that runs it or oversees its operations. There's no government there to control it. So you've got three completely different things, very distinct. You got stable coins, which are company owned and company issued. You've got CBDCs, which are government issued. And then you've got Bitcoin, which is no issuer at all. And CBDCs bring control right back to the center. It centralizes. And this is where it gets real, because a lot of people think, well, they think that they're protected. Look, I've got investments, I've got some Bitcoin exposure, I've got super, I've got property, I've got gold and silver, I'm diversified. But look at how that's actually structured. Let's just take the Bitcoin ETFs as an example. They're called exchange traded funds. They're offered by companies like BlackRock. You buy into an ETF thinking that you actually have Bitcoin. No, you're not holding Bitcoin. You don't own Bitcoin at all if you invest in an ETF. You're holding a position which is priced in dollars. And it's the same with any ETF. It's the same with the gold ETFs. Same with most managed investments. It's the institution who holds the asset and you hold a claim. And that claim that you're entitled to is based in dollars. It's not based in Bitcoin. It's not based in gold. And look, that's fine as long as the system works the way that it has been right up until today. But if that system changes, well, so could the rules. So if the dollar collapses during a reset event and the dollar just becomes worth nothing, it loses all of its buying power, sure, you can cash in your ETF shares, but what will you be able to actually buy with that cash if that cash has lost all of its value? Obviously nothing. Because you can't take an ETF and then use it. You can't send it, you can't transact with it, you basically can't do anything with it. You rely on the system to give you access. Whereas if you actually hold Bitcoin or the asset in your hands in cold storage, offline, well, that's very different. Now, bring it back to this idea. Programmable money. If money itself is programmable, it's not just something that you hold, it's something that can have conditions, where it can be used, how it can be used, when it can be used. I'm not saying that that's necessarily how it's going to be used, but it's the system that's going to allow it. The system grants or denies permission. And once something is possible, well, it rarely stays unused. Now add this into the mix. You've got universal basic income, direct payments from governments to individuals. A lot of people might think, well, that sounds simple, it sounds helpful. But if you combine that with digital currencies, with programmability, with centralized systems, you don't just have money anymore, you have infrastructure. So step back and look at the full picture. See your money, your super, your investments. Most of it sits inside a system that you don't control and that you can't control. And that system is changing. It's not maybe, it's not, oh, maybe one day, it's now. So the real question that we need to ask isn't, look, is this happening? It's, are you positioned inside the system? Are you relying on the system? Or are you positioned outside of it? Now, you know that I'm not a financial advisor. There's always someone in the comments asking me about Bitcoin, which I love. How do I buy it? How do I store it? Look, me personally, if I want to purchase Bitcoin or digital assets, I use Stormrake. These guys are the real deal. They're trusted, they're efficient. I've put a link in the description below. If you're interested, feel free to check them out. And look, if you're on social media as well, check out my Instagram, Only Tim Penhalerick. It's a little bit different over there. Shorter form content, stuff that'll make you think. It's a little bit more personal over there. I've got a link in the description for that too. And if you wanted to support my channel, feel free to consider joining. It's only a few dollars a month. It helps me get this info out. So thanks again for watching today, guys. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like and subscribe. Throw a comment in the box below. Let me know if you're exposed to the system or if you're looking at ways to position yourself outside of it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.